Back to Commonwealth Flipper. Welcome to the Commonwealth cabin. Boy, we've got some topics to talk about today, including one that I think is, well, let me just say it this way. There's been a lot of people saying it in the comments lately, more than usual, and so I want to address it. I know I'm biting off way more than I can chew on this one, and I don't have all the answers, but I'll try to give some of them today. Talk about some of the things that's been going on around here as well. And we've got some guests already in here. I've been doing some work in here and I left them in here and you guys just took a nap, didn't you? I have rapidly realized trying to list an hour a day that I'm running out of drafts. I'm running out of merchandise, and so it's much more complicated than the simple stuff. Plus, I'm learning a little bit about my own human nature because sales have really ramped up and you don't feel that necessity to list quite as much as you do when those sales are bad. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Plus I have an announcement that I want to make for some of you. This will relate to some of you out there, and this will maybe be something interesting for some of you, and I'm going to ask for a little bit of help out there, but that'll be at the end of the video. So starting with the sale, but then getting directly into this topic about eBay hiding listings. And like I said, probably bit off way more than I could chew, which reminds me of something. Some folks have been a little nasty in the comments lately. Not to me necessarily, but to other folks leaving comments. So we'll talk about that. This was a pickup at the 301 sale. And it was in a box. I'm trying to remember. There's a couple boxes. I pulled it out because you don't often see the trolls that have the Scandia House little tag on them, and this one had a little case. I'm like, man, that might be good. And I paid like $1. I don't even know. I might have paid less, and that one sold for really good money, and it sold fairly quickly. $43.95 plus shipping. Had the only one on eBay. And you're going to see a few really good sales. Matter of fact, there's a $500 sale in here we're going to get to in a second. So after people, when I did the video about things slowing down, and now I've done a few about them speeding up, I actually did it for a purpose. For the reason of saying, hey, I'm going to take accountability for this. And yeah, we can cast blame in all kinds of places, and that's what happened when I put that video out. Boy, some people wanted to crucify eBay. Some people wanted to crucify politicians. Some people wanted to crucify the post office and all these things. And those all might be concerns. I'm not saying they're not. But in the end, we can only control ourselves, and that's what I decided to do. I buckled down and started to really focus on what I was trying to build here with the eBay side of the business, and things turned around fairly quickly. And once they did, you feel really good, and then you don't want to list as much, and that's what's happened here. But hey, for the meantime, it's going really well. I think this is over a few days of sales, but I could ship out $3,000 worth of stuff today. We're not going to. We're going to do half of it today and half of it tomorrow. So after this sale, we're gonna get to the topic. I'm gonna read one of those people who commented on that. Sold some Tupperware, y'all. And a lot of the new Tupperware I've been listing has been selling some of the old stuff. That kind of relates to our topic a little bit. I think it's this one. This is the same color, I think, as the Blockbuster one. Same size, and that one goes for really good money. But picked this one up super cheap the other day and sold it fairly quickly. These big ones with the lids with color on them and stuff can go right around $20 plus shipping, and this one did. So here's the comment / questions. It's a question, but it's rhetorical, I believe, and it came from Kramer7969. So if you're listening out there, I'm going to do my best with this one. And I think it's important, but just know that I don't have all the answers to this. I don't know that eBay has the answers to this, for that matter. But why does eBay care whether or not I list every day? And there's more to it, but I'm going to start with that. So this came from the idea that I was going to sit down for an hour and list every day, which I did for a few days, and then it's been kind of sporadic again. I've got to get back to carving that time out, but we've had some things go on where sometimes you just can't get it done. But at any rate, it certainly is the belief of most folks, and I think it's my belief too, that if you consistently list items on a daily basis, it doesn't just help for those items, it helps for other back items as well. And I want to discuss that a little bit. A lot of it's going to be anecdotal because I don't have the answers, but I want to get your opinion on it as well. Why do they hide my past listings from showing up? Because I don't list new items. And so we're working off an assumption that they do hide your past items, your past listings. It makes no sense. He says, it'd be like Walmart taking everything off the shelf in the entire store because they didn't get a delivery one day. Interesting. And he ends it by saying, eBay only makes money if we sell items, so why wouldn't they want us all to be selling as much as possible? So that is an interesting take on this. And a lot of people said that in that video. They're like, hey, you know, eBay's hiding my listings, eBay's doing whatever. And maybe they are. I'm not entirely sure. I think from time to time things do get hidden. I'm not going to find this. And I'm not going to find it because it's not in there. I bought a ton of glass lately. And boy, I got to get to this topic. And I just decided, you know, when I get this stuff in drafts and stuff, that I wasn't going to take a look at how much glass I've got, y'all. Had a huge glass buy the other day. We already have some over there, and I'm not really a glass seller, but this was a great opportunity at this particular Friday sale. And so I bought a bunch because it was cheap. They were moving. And this is the item that's sold. Make sure I don't break it. So Jess hasn't been here in, oh geez, I don't know, like a long time. A week or so. She was taking a little bit of a vacation, and so she's in charge of all that live selling right there. So I've just put this up, and as soon as I'm done filming today, I'm going to come in and start doing some work and getting some drafts up. This is all the eBay stuff I bought this last week. And this is how little I know about glass. I didn't even recognize it when I bought it, but that's gooseberry, and I've sold that before. And I don't even know what the heck it is. I thought it was like coffee creamer and sugar and stuff, but I'm not sure if this even goes with this, but it did, and it sold, which is cool. And that's not a bad little sale right there. It sold for $23.70. I paid $5 plus shipping. Actually, I paid a little less than $5 because she bundled it all together. It was around $120, and I paid $100. So let's get back to the question for a second, and I'm gonna give some nuanced answers because this is the way I feel about this stuff, but I don't have all the numbers to back it up, so I don't want to say anything, you know, out of turn. I will say, yes, I definitely agree. Of course, eBay makes money when we make sales, and so why wouldn't they want everything to be seen and whatever? So there's a couple things, and one of it takes me back to, and this is really not regarding the promoted listings thing, so throw that out for a second. And let's just look at the stuff maybe that's not promoted or overall eBay site, because, like I said, don't have all the answers. But I can tell you this, just from my own experience, I've told the story about my old friend who's since passed, who owned a grocery store out, kind of a country grocery store out in Northern California, and he would talk to me when we go through the store about where things are in that store and the ability to push certain items because people have a desire for those items. I'm like, okay. And so I've kind of taken some of that to heart. And I think that applies here to some degree. I think a lot of us make assumptions that aren't true, some things that I didn't know till not that long ago, I suppose, that there is a cost to putting an image in front of somebody, even on their own site like eBay. There's a cost to running that marketplace. And they want to constantly, and I'm not saying they do this right, they want to constantly put items that have a higher chance of selling in front of people. So in other words, if you have a listing that's bad, and for some reason there's something wrong with it, maybe it's been around forever and it's got tons of impressions with no buyers, no watchers, none of that stuff, then do they bury it? Yeah, I think they do bury it. I don't know how their algorithm works. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to tell you how their algorithm works. I don't have the answer to the specific question of why does listing encourage some older items to sell, which is kind of what you're asking here. I do feel like it's true. Like, for instance, I'm going to go through and I'll talk about some older items. These three happen to be fairly newly listed items. I think this is the oldest listed item of these three, and that wasn't even up for very long. But I find that when my newer items are listed and that activity is there, sometimes we get older sales. And I'm going to do one here in just a second for that matter. And I do think that it matters. Why does it matter and how they decide to do that? I'm not entirely sure. I've got some speculation for it though. So I try to ask myself, and maybe you can help me out here, if you were an online reselling platform, what kind of algorithm would you create? Now, if you've been watching this show for a while, you know, and it's no secret, I'm not in love with eBay's promoted listings. I'd much prefer to have that not even be an option, but that's a different story. I'm gonna have to show you this one right here. in a picture because I'm not unrolling this. This is a set of 3, and this is a very old listing. However, I put on 30% off, and maybe that's why we got the sale. $24.50 plus shipping. So like I said, if you had your own platform, would you favor folks and their listings that were constantly active, that were on there? They're shipping stuff that gets sold like that. They're listing stuff on a regular basis. There's consistency. There's a lot of activity. Would you favor either this leads to a bigger question. Are they hiding people's listings, or does every listing stand on its own? Because I think that's a big, big difference, right? This person said, why they're hiding my listings. I think that's what you said anyways. I don't want to put words in your mouth here. Because of inactivity or not listing every day? Or is it the fact that listings, as they age, they show themselves, right? They show that they're not being sold. There's something wrong with them, if you will. Maybe the price point is not at the selling market rate anymore because I listed it a year ago and I haven't done anything with it. Maybe there's some optimization in the title. There's all kinds of things that can kill a listing over time, if you will. And so I think that's a very, very, very different question than rewarding a particular seller somehow in an algorithm because they're active. And let's face it, newer items do sell at a much higher rate than older items. There's no doubt about that. And part of the reason why is because if you list 15 things, presumably a lot of them are high sell-through rate items that are going to sell quickly, and the ones that didn't are kind of those non-high sell-through rate items that might have to take a while, and then they start to slowly get to the back end of the store, which is why I think it's important to do some house cleaning every once in a while. I never used to do that, and I've done it twice now in the last 2.5 years, one in a small scale way and one in a huge scale way, and it made immediate improvements on my store. Boy, I can already sense that I'm really biting off more than I can chew. There's going to be some comments below. But I think this is important discussion at the very least. Ertl, the fall guy right here, it's got some creasing in it right there. If this would have been perfect, and maybe I listed it just a couple of months ago, not even 1 month ago, I'd have got more than I got now because that movie had just come out. And these were going a little higher. That's what I mean about certain items and selling them, but I didn't have it at the time. So that one, Colt, right there, the fall guy, I love that show. $34.95 plus shipping. The next one's a really good sale. Can't wait to show you, but I want to continue this conversation a little bit and talk about this. Like, I do Dibdit.com now, and I can adjust things just like I was thinking, like the store, right? There's categories, and you can push things up in the home screen and stuff. There's no real algorithm that, I mean, I'm not doing much anything, to be honest with you. But what kind of items do you want to be seen more? You want those items that are going to be high sellers. You want that. You don't want to put your worst foot forward. You want to put your best foot forward. So I think that your overall store makes a difference for individual items. And so I've put a little bit more effort into sell-through rate, and I still sell a ton of stuff that doesn't have a bunch of sell-through rate. Matter of fact, on some of those items, they sell like crazy and then they stop selling. And when they stop selling, they just kind of go dormant. But when you get a sale, somebody searches it. And that's another topic for another day. Just the actual eBay search is an issue for a lot of folks. It certainly is for me. I wish they'd go back to some of the old ways. But that's a side note. If you have an item that all of a sudden does sell, hadn't sold in months, and then you sell 2 or 3 or 4 of them, to me, that tells me, yeah, there is an algorithm at play here. Now that thing's been seen and there's a record of a sale and they're going to push it out a little bit more. I mean, I think about YouTube. This is how YouTube works. So taking care of the back end of your store, I call it the back end. I don't know what you want to call it. Stuff that's been hanging around for a while, I think is really important. And I neglect it. And lately, when I talk about this hour a day listing, a lot of times, especially the last couple days, instead of going on and listing new items, and I do that as well, I just haven't done as much of it the last few days because I wasn't ready because my drafts were running low. And I couldn't get around to getting out there. But I think, I can't even get this out. Hold on a minute. All right, I got it. Here it is. This is the $5 and the $495 plus shipping. Fairly quickly. Quicker than I thought because I made up a comp for this. This is Once Bitten, Twice Shy, gold record. It's got the cassette too. There were some similar comps out there. But I decided to price this one way up because this was presented to a person. This is, let's see, it says to commemorate the sale of more than 500,000 copies, Capitol Records, Once Bitten, Twice Shy. So this was Win Davis. This guy apparently is one of the producers of this album. And I'm like, nothing out there quite like this. I'm going to bump it up. Maybe I undersold it, but I sold it way over any similar comp for sure. And this one sold within a couple of days maybe. $495 plus shipping. So I really do think that paying attention to your overall store health is a big plus, even though I'm not great at it and I need to. This is the time of year in Q3 when it's a little slower for some folks. Then maybe it's a good time to do it. Maybe you just go, and I usually put the 30% off sale once it's been in the store 250 days or whatever, and then some of the things sell. But man, I could go back into my store and really clean up some things. Look at those listings. It takes time. It's not what I want to do. But I think for whatever reason, I think it really, really helped last time. I think it would help again. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plan on doing it once a year at this point. And last year I did it in Q3 ahead of Q4, right before Q4 started. And it really, really helped my Q4. I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but I can tell you there are some things, the whole delist, relist, or sell similar of your own item kind of thing, that I go through and I do. And I have an item that's been sitting there forever. And all of a sudden it's got activity and it sells. So whether we like it or not, I think it's probably good practice. It is a miracle when I sell shoes of any sort, even the tiny sort. And I usually pick these up for like $1 and some for 10, 12 bucks. But boy, this one didn't sell. It got put in my 30% off sale. It only sold for $6.97 plus shipping. But sometimes you got to do that. You got to get that old stuff moving and get it going. It has a little bit to do with my topic at the end of the video, my little announcement, shoes especially, but with a much bigger announcement that I'm excited about. By the way, this is a slightly different topic than the rolling blackouts. I don't know what you want to call them. The hiding of mass quantities of items that we've talked about before. And again, I don't have any hard evidence for stuff, but the wizards of smart out there who know everything about all the algorithms and all that stuff, which I don't, and I don't pretend to. And occasionally I feel this way too. I have in the past. It's like, okay, eBay's doing work on something because something's funky right now. The views are all screwy. Everything's all... I do believe that stuff happens from time to time, and I think it affects different groups of sellers at different times. But I don't know. I don't think any of us know. But something happens from time to time, that is for certain. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you think your items are being hidden or certain items, or you think your activity hasn't helped or has helped. Trying to find the right ones. I think both of them sold, but one of them is going out tomorrow. This is a Cavs, University of Virginia Cavaliers pennant. It was a great little sale. We got all this stuff super cheap, like $1/4 or something. And I got some good winners in here. And this one I think sold for 30 bucks right there, plus shipping. That vintage UVA one. It's got a couple little issues, but it's in okay shape. I just got an alert on my phone that one of our deal of the day items over there on dibdit.com sold, so I figured I'd pick one out for this video. I'm going to put this Dare line over there. It's in really great, clean condition to resist drugs and violence over there on dibdit.com. If you are brand new, have never bought anything over there before, you can use code Commonwealth when you check out, and you can get it for $5 because anything over $10, if you use the code, you get $5 off. So dibdit.com if you're interested in the Dare line. I think I hear Turner coming in. Let's see. Hey, buddy. All right, y'all, we got Turner and we got Sophie today, so it's a rare day. Turner's back from a nice trip. Did you have fun on your trip? Yep. Yep, with your buddies. Went to a lake. You're a little tanner. Yeah, I did. And he slept in today. He's still in his little robe. So anyway, you got a joke for us. What you got?
Where does the army keep fish?
Where does the army keep fish? Where?
In a tank.
Very good, buddy. Thank you.
Bye.
Y'all, I better get to picking if I'm ever going to get to my announcement at the end of this video right here. And this sale was awesome. And it reminds me of a little story. It is not just a Mahjong set. I already sold that. This is the racks to a Mahjong set right there. That's a bobblehead back there. Let's get that off if I can. And these racks right here, I want to say I paid 20 bucks for the Mahjong set, which sold for 100, and then this was included with it, and this sold for $160 plus shipping. And I'm not going to open it up, but it's got the racks in there. A little vintage, antique almost. That was an awesome sale. But I specifically remember going to this sale and a picker walking out and saying, good luck there, prices are crazy, there's nothing there, you know, whatever. And I'm like, And man, me and my wife killed it that day. And he was right. The prices were too high on stuff, but we happened to find that in the really high price sale. And we weren't even early to that sale. My wife met me there after she dropped off Reagan. I'm like, you know, sometimes you just got to dig. You got to find the right merchandise, and it's not easy sometimes. And picking really, truly is a skill that I think I'm getting better at all the time, learning from a lot of you guys out there. And then the next sale that he had already been to as well, that he was kind of poo-pooing a little bit, my wife found that lantern that sold for like $100 or $90 or something. So that stuff's out there if you find it. And I constantly try to get better, and I know I walk past stuff that people buy all the time. And I don't want to do that so much, especially in this environment, you know, and picking and reselling might be a little bit harder than it used to be. I try to improve myself at all facets of this thing. So Major League Baseball, I thought this would actually go for a little bit more, but it didn't. It sold for $15.95 plus shipping. That one went to Bradley, Crosley Field. So Bradley, thank you. We appreciate that. And that Major League Baseball, authentic in the case, is headed your way. Turner brought me one of his games the other day. Matter of fact, this game was something he picked when we were in Arizona last November. And he played it for a while, I believe. I think that's where it was. Pretty sure that's where he got it. And he said, I'm done with this game. And I said, all right, well, I'll sell it for you. Or I bought it off of him. I usually do that instead of waiting for later in case I forget. $14.95 for this Nintendo Switch game, Splatoon 2. Plus shipping. This is a vintage Buccaneers hat with the old emblem, made in the USA, AJD, in very good condition. That one sold for $30.35 plus shipping. I had a watcher on it and I sent out an offer. So that item had been in there forever and finally got a sale. This item, same thing. And I'm not sure if we would have sold them without that activity that we've put in there lately, but I guess as we probably would have, but who the heck knows? So I can just tell you that there's nothing that supplants the importance of listing stuff, because when you list stuff, you got a better chance of selling it. So there's a lot of other stuff that goes in with it. Bullhead Dylan jeans, they've been in there forever, and they sold, I think that's right, they should have been ones that have been in there forever. They were certainly in the bottom of the bin. $14.95 plus shipping. Here's an example of a delist, relist one, or sell similar, whatever y'all do. I don't want to argue all those points. This was just a dead listing, and when I relisted it, I think I listed a little cheaper, $12.95 plus shipping. Barefoot Contessa. I picked this up with Dante with Prison to Profit. I think it's got to be well over 2 years ago at this point. And we sold a bunch of them, but some reason this one wasn't selling, and I delisted it, relisted it, and it sold $12.95 plus shipping. And that item had probably been through 2 or 3 or 4 30% off sales and never sold, and then relisted it without the sale, and it sold. Here's a great one. This is a new bolo for me. I wouldn't have ever guessed this would go for so much. The Midnight Special. These were used, I believe. Some of them are new. And that set of DVDs for the Midnight Special sold for $150 plus shipping. It's another item that had been in the store forever. I know it because I remember my wife picking this up. It's a Dan D plush macho something. Macho puppy dog. Kisses like a Valentine thing, and it's Dan D. So she picked it up. She said she saw a comp for like $10 or something. I'm like, it was a quarter. She's like, oh, I'm like, all right. She doesn't pay as much attention to sell-through rates as I do. Let's just put it that way. But it was a quarter, so it took forever. Sold 30% off for just under $7 plus shipping. Here's another nice sale. This is a Troy Aikman with a little authenticity thing, COA and stuff in the back. Signed photo. I love Troy. I'm not a Cowboy fan, but he was a Bruin after all. UCLA boy. So that one sold for $69.95 plus shipping. Sold a Harley wallet, $28.95. See, my grandma, she used to always say, you know, you'll get happy in the same britches. So a week ago, I was singing a different song. Now sales are popping like crazy, and they're good ones. And that should be right there. $28.95. I believe that's what it sold for. Let me double check. I don't want to steer you wrong. Yep, $28.95 plus shipping. 91, 92 with issues, serious issues. Anvil made in the USA single stitch Bulls Championship shirt, $39.95 plus shipping. And that is a first time buyer. Should I be nervous? We'll see. Sold a Wii Sports without the cover. I think that's right. I gotta double check. I might have two of them. And Wii Sports still sells good, y'all. $19.95 plus shipping. This one hasn't even made it back to the other cabin yet. Just listed it and already sold. And it sold for $14.95 plus shipping. Sold a Callaway Apex head cover, hybrid head cover right there. Not big money, $11.89 I think. All right, here it is, announcement time. And I'm super excited about this and slightly nervous, which is why I need those of you who've supported me all the time to support me in this and to give me some information. I need some help with this. I've hinted at this now for weeks, and you're going to start to see me on the podcast circuit to give a deeper explanation than what I'm going to do right now. But I'm going to first announce it to this community because that's what it's about. It's about our little group here and so many of you that have been so awesome to us. And I often say that I don't want to do anything unless it's going to benefit three parties who may be involved. In this case, me, whoever I'm partnering with, and you know, my family, of course, and my audience. And I think I've developed this in a way that is going to be awesome. A reseller to reseller marketplace on the District app, shopcommons.net. Hey y'all, I'm actually editing this video right now that I'm cutting into because I just had to say something. You're hearing an announcement. You may have already heard it, just depending on when I put it in the video, about shopcommons.net. And I don't want to make these videos always about that by any stretch of the imagination, but I just want to give a great thank you because I kind of let the cat out of the bag last video and I just mentioned it briefly at the end of it, and there was already just a way more people over there than I thought. And it's kind of been so successful already. Let me give you an idea. I've sold all 10 things that I've listed already, all of them. So I'm in here scrambling to get more listings up over there. And like I said in that last video, I always thought that there was a certain amount of people out there that really struggle to get inventory, especially if they're, you know, there's folks with disabilities that have contacted me. There's older folks. I got a message today in an email from a lady, I think she was in her 80s, and said that she has niched down basically to jewelry at this point. She just can't do that much, but she loves doing it. It gives her purpose. She tries to make $300 to $500 profit a month, and her sources have dried up. She depends on people sending her stuff, and I was like, huh, this is interesting. And I was so appreciative of that and got 4 or 5 other emails as well. So I think this is going to serve a certain amount of folks who want to get more inventory. It's not like, you know, there's going to be $10,000 lots over there for $500. That's not what we're talking about. But there certainly is so far money to be made on most of these. And every single one that I saw that was a good listing sold immediately. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. And it really kind of has inspired me to think, hey, this is something that is good for this community, both sellers and buyers, if we do it right. And I'm just so encouraged by it. Thank you to all the folks who have helped me and got listings up. They got depleted really quick. It hasn't even really launched yet. It won't launch till Wednesday. So I've had to approve sellers faster than I wanted to make it look like something's over there when the thing launches. I'm overwhelmed with you guys' support, and I really think this is going to be a great idea for some folks. Not for everybody, but for some folks. So thank you for doing that. And if you are a seller already approved, or if you are possibly, and I've talked to some folks who even own mom and pop thrift stores who want to do this. And there's some bigger quantity folks who want to pass on the right merchandise to the right folks wherever they live in the country. And I'm like, man, this really might work for some people. It's already been working for me. I'm cleaning out the underbrush of so much of this stuff, which has really been awesome. So I'm hoping that this is the right mix. There's been a lot of people who have antique booths who have been contacting us as well and been buying over there, which is really cool. So I'm going to work on some lots in here to hopefully have something up on Wednesday when this thing launches. Wednesday for all sellers is completely free, no fees whatsoever. I talked to the district boys. No fees with the exception of that transaction fee for the whole purchase. So enjoy Wednesday if you're a seller over there, and hopefully we can get some people over there. And hey, pass on those deals. One other thing, I am making a video to put on Garage Sale Nation directly targeted to sellers. So if you want to sell over there, I'm going to require that folks watch that video. Don't put an application over there to sell until you've watched that video over on Garage Sale Nation. If you do, you put that in your application and read the community guidelines, because the whole point of this is to pass on with enough meat on the bone for the people out there who have trouble sourcing to be able to get a good enough deal to make some money on it. So that's the goal of this thing. So thank y'all for everything. Thanks for the unbelievable positive feedback, even from those folks who don't necessarily think that it is perfect for them. They think that it could be good for some folks. So thank you. And it is going to be dedicated to wholesaling items. And I'm not talking about selling off your death pile. We're talking about specific things. And I've kind of hinted at this. Like I've said before, I'm not great at records. And my time spent for the money I make isn't good because I'm not a record guy. And record folks know those things better, and their time is better spent. They know the ins and outs of it. I've said the same thing about shoes. To be honest with you, coins is another one I'm not great at. And there's a bunch of different categories like that. Comic books, where I would be better served in my reselling business by wholesaling that stuff off in lots. But I mean together, like selling nothing but a giant lot of comic books, selling nothing but a giant lot of shoes, nothing but a giant lot of X or Y or Z. There's all kinds of categories out there. Consoles is another one. When I've done these individual shows like on Dibdit or on Whatnot in the past, but I do the consoles on Dibdit because the shipping, it's bigger. I've had people at the end of it say, hey, instead of doing this show, just put it all in a box and sell it to me. I'll give you basically the same amount of money. You just can do it quicker. I'm like, huh. And so I think I'm going to start doing that with consoles as well. Matter of fact, there's some listings over there now. You don't have to buy anything, no pressure. I don't want people to buy stuff over there unless it's going to benefit them financially. This is not like Whatnot or Dibdit where creators like me can sell one-offs. And this is really from reseller to reseller, and I want both sides to benefit. And so I'm not going to get into great detail today. I'm just going to, because I need your information. Go look at it, see if this might be something that will work for you as a seller. If you have way too much inventory and you don't sell all that particular type of inventory, maybe you're a buyer of storage auction or storage units, and you come across, a ton of vintage clothes, and you don't do vintage clothes, and you want to sell all the t-shirts off in one lot or something like that. Maybe whatever category it is. I've got 3 people who they call me all the time. They're like, please, I'll consign it to you. You do this. And I'm like, I don't want to turn into a consigner. I don't want to turn into, a whatnotter all day. It's not me. It's not what I like. What I would do, though, is create a marketplace where you could sell in bulk, as long as they're not mystery boxes. They're none of that garbage. As long as it's extremely transparent, a video listing or a live sale. And that's the method I'm going to go, and I think it will succeed. And I personally, and I'm going to encourage folks to sell cheap. Like, hey, you're selling it all off in one lot, get rid of it. Like these CDs back here. I'm selling these CDs on that site. I guarantee you that it's no more than 25% of their value. But I can sell it all off at once and make a quick buck. And I want to do that to streamline my business, and it'll go to somebody who might have an antique booth that does really well with media. It might go to somebody who's able to sell that stuff on Amazon, because I don't want to. And I don't know. I really, really think this is a great idea for some folks out there, not for everybody. If you have more inventory you know what to do with, you don't want to deal with it. Well, maybe you could sell over there. I'm not quite sure, but I am going to limit the amount of sellers, so I can vet people, so I can make sure it's done right, so I can make sure everybody's getting a good deal. Everybody's making a profit in this. That's the goal of this. And I've heard from some folks with disabilities as well that are like, hey, I can't get out and source. Will you sell me X, Y, or Z, the people that want to buy my shoes? And I'm like, well, so this is the way we're going to go about it. And hopefully we can help each other out. And we, in this little niche here, this little community that you guys are so generous to provide me, we can be honest with each other, and we can provide deals that make sense for everybody. Open communication with your seller and with me and the folks at District. I've told them when they came to me, because I came to them with an idea, just opening a marketplace for me to do this only, because I just didn't trust all the other stuff. I said, well, if we expand this, it needs to be 8% fees. I want it cheap. I want it to make sense. And so we're doing 8% fees for the first 50 to 100 sellers. And I probably will not take more than 100 sellers over there. Certainly not this year, because I want to police it. I want to make sure it's set up the right way and people are doing the right thing. It's a bit of a risk. I'm a little scared to do this because I'm putting my name on the line, but I feel like it's time that there is some place out there where you can buy wholesale as a normal person without going through all the hoops and doing all the other stuff that a lot of these big sellers do, that you can trust. And I'm hoping this is going to work for a lot of folks out there. So I'm excited about it. I will be talking about it on the reseller circuit here. I never do live shows, but I've scheduled some. Matter of fact, I'm recording one later today. And if you are interested in selling, just know that it won't just be, you know, click approve. There's going to be a process to it. But if it fits you, like I said, if you buy in giant lots of stuff and do buyouts and you focus on one thing and you think this may help your business, I would love to hear from you in an application. The first, like I said, 50 to 100 people. I'm not sure if I'm capping it at 50 or 100. We'll just see how it goes at the beginning. I think the first month we would never do more than 50 folks, but after that we might just add up to 100 for the end of the year, 8% fees, and then we'll reevaluate next year. So it doesn't have to be big. I'd prefer this to be a small marketplace where we help each other. Whew. We'll see if it'll work. Do me a favor and go over there and check it out and see what you think. You might even want to make a purchase from me. See if I'm holding up to my end of the bargain. I've got a few listings over there in different categories, and I'd love to see not only you buy it, but you give me feedback on it and see, was it worth it to you? Is that worth it to you to do wholesale? And we can control the shipping. We can have open communication lines inside of that marketplace. And I'm excited about it. If you go check it out for me and give me your feedback, I'd appreciate it. All right, so there it is. I am hoping, don't forget, dealoftheday.com, and some shows over there coming up. We have a coin show, by the way, for you coin folks on the 26th, I think. Jess told me. I can't remember. I should have had Jess come on here and tell me when these live shows are. Sophie's not going to help me list or ship. I got some hard ones to ship right there, so that'll take a minute. Hey, I hope your sales are going well this Q3, middle of the summertime on eBay. But, you know, sometimes you just got to have some encouragement when things are tough. And hopefully seeing me go through a really rough stretch just a couple of weeks ago and now seeing the hard work paying off, hopefully that inspires you. And for those of you who are putting in the hard work and you're not seeing the results, I hope that changes for you soon. And I can't wait to see you next.